So last night I brought Ellie in and tried to remove the stain off of this leg. As you can see, it went well. But Lucy has brought me some shampoo over from someone that she works with, so I'm going to try that later. But what's worse is Ellie and Lexi had a bit of a fisticuff in the stable between their, obviously between their stables, they've got like a peepee hole thing. And Lexi has ripped some of Ellie's face off, so that's cool. Annoyingly, it's above her noseband, so it's going to show, but then I suppose in a way that's a good thing because her noseband isn't going to sit on it. But I don't think that's going to grow back by Saturday, do you? It's only Wednesday. It's just typical, isn't it? Oh well, onwards and upwards. So we are preparing for the Cornish Concours Show. So it's a concours costume competition. And obviously with any competition, you've got to do preparation. I knew Ellie would be fine with this and it was quite windy, but wanted to make sure, obviously, that it looked decent, fitted sort of as it should, although as you can see, it's blowing up in the wind. So we quickly realised it would need weighting. This was only a couple of days before the show though, so nothing much was going to be happening before the show. And I thought that the show was going to be inside, so I wasn't too worried about it getting blown up in the wind. As you can see, she does not care. I mean, it's no different to an exercise sheet really, but you need to make sure that your horse is going to be happy with it. She is used to this sort of thing anyway from years ago when we did used to do the side saddle. That's Ellie all washed. She is shaking, but I think that's more because she's freaking out that she might be going out somewhere. And yeah, that mark on her face is still very obvious. Anyway, hopefully she will look a bit whiter. Got her dry rug on and also a fleece over the top because she was being a wimpy. And yeah, now she can chill out for a bit in the stable. The show's tomorrow, but I wanted to get to the main part of her clean. And I'll probably hot cloth her in the morning, so hopefully Lexi won't rip any more of her face off because you can see how that happened. Doesn't she look pretty all plaided up? Good girl. So, forelock one, quite good. Main ones, not too bad, not too bad, not too bad. Then as we go down the neck, her mane gets thinner and thinner and we just kind of do like balls of hair. Can't plait them. But you look beautiful. It must be 10 years since she's last been plaited. Ellie was not ideal to load today, but I had my top groom say hi. Looks like they've had some extra entries on the day, so on the plus side, we're not late, so we're just chilling out. Ellie's mission for the day is to devour the entire horse licks. Hey darling, that's all pretty plaited up. Top groom assistant number 2. Chuki. Told you it was top groom. So we are just in the warm-up here. Our first class was senior ridden combination, I think. I am doing this class astride. The dress is actually designed to be worn astride or side saddle, so it is suitable for both occasions. In theory, in the astride costume, this is very limited knowledge, so do not use me as your source of information if you choose to do it yourself. I am just kind of going to tell you what I know and have learnt. So anyway, the skirt should sit kind of centrally along the horse, so if you have got like a seam at the back, that should stay in the middle. And also your feet should never be able to be seen. So for example, you'll see at some parts of the video that my toes make an appearance. So this is actually incorrect, so your feet shouldn't be able to be seen. And also your skirt has to be long enough to cover the horse's sort of bum, so you can see where Ellie's skirt comes to. Like the length is okay for Ellie, like you wouldn't really want it to be much shorter than that. We did move from the indoor warm-up arena, which is where I actually thought that the show was going to be held, into the outdoor arena, which I don't blame them because it was a beautiful sunny day. But obviously I said in my previous bit where I was waffling on that my skirt wasn't really weighted enough, so being outside with a bit of a breeze wasn't ideal, so I knew that my feet were probably going to show. The arena was also quite small, and obviously with Ellie I don't like to do too much sort of tight turning, so it wasn't my favourite arena, but it is what it is. It's not too taxing sort of doing this sort of like showing classes, is it? So it's not like I was doing a jump off and having to make really tight turns. It is worth saying that I did choose to wear a top hat. You do have to usually sign a disclaimer to say that you obviously understand the risk of wearing a top hat. You can also wear a helmet, and if you're under a certain age, I think you have to wear a helmet. So it is worth being aware of that. But if you purchase a costume from a dressmaker, a lot of them can do like brilliant work with creating hat bands that will go on your helmet or making sort of covers to go on them. But because I wanted to wear a veil, because I just felt that kind of set my costume off a bit, I decided I would wear a top hat. So like normal showing, you do your initial go round with everyone and then you get called in and you do a show. The thing I didn't know about concours, which we were told on the day by the lovely judge, was that you don't have to canter in your show, but obviously you can if you want to, so I obviously did here. However, if you go onto the wrong leg in canter, then you will lose points. So you have to be fairly confident that you are going to get the right leg if you do decide to canter, because otherwise someone who's just done walk and trot could be placed above you if you decide to take the risk and canter and wrong leg it. I was just doing it more of like a bit of fun and a training exercise, so I wanted to do the canter. And also, you know, you've entered the classes, it's an arena. I don't have an arena at home, so I like to try and get a little bit of work in if I can. But I was really chuffed with her individual show here. She obviously went on the right leg both times. She worked quite nicely, so couldn't be any happier with her really. So we came second in that class. The judge obviously mentioned about our feet poking out, and she did say that we would maybe benefit from having a brooch at the top of our jacket, which I did learn anyway because it's got Velcro at the top and I snagged my veil on it so many times. And also to get Ellie a velvet brow band, as opposed to, I've got sort of like a polo-y one which I just put on because it's the same sort of colour as my costume. Anyway, as you can see, this is our second class, which I decided I would do side saddle. So this is a get ready for Royal Cornwall Show class, which I have entered Royal Cornwall Show to do the side saddle equitation and the side saddle costume. But I am still very unfit in the side saddle, and this is Ellie's I don't know, 5th time. I think she's only been ridden in it 4 times prior to this. Obviously, she has been ridden in a side saddle like in the past, so she understands it. But, you know, we're not at our fittest. Well, I mean, she's very, very fit, but we're not at our fittest in a side saddle. And I definitely am not, so it's still very much hurting. So my position's not as good as it could be, but we do our best. Format of this is similar to the other class, so obviously you are going around as a group in your kind of go round, so you do a bit of walk and trot, change the rein, and then you are called in to line up, and then you do your individual show again. I was really happy with how the costume sat side saddle actually. We had prepped it before the show, but I didn't film it, just to see what it looked like sideways, because we weren't quite sure how to like lay the skirt, because obviously because it's a stride as well, it's got a split at the front, so we weren't quite sure how it would lay. Ben really didn't have a clue what he was supposed to be looking at, but he did a good job of making me look good in the costume, I think, so hats off to him. Like, let's give him a round of applause because he did really well. He also juggled doing all this filming and taking photos, so I am very lucky that he is a mostly willing helper. So again, in our individual show, I did speak to Ben about it beforehand, and I was like, oh, shall I canter or not? Because with the side saddle, you obviously ask for canter a bit differently. I was fairly confident she would go on the correct leg, but, you know, as I was saying, she's only been in it 4 times prior to this, and I'm still unfit, so my aids probably are not as brilliant as they would have been when we were doing it all the time. But she was brilliant, and she did go on the correct leg each time. And to be honest, I know my position's not amazing, like I'm not expecting to go out and win an equitation class straight away like we used to, but considering how long it's been and how little sort of fitness we've got in the side saddle, I'm pretty happy with my position. I know that I am leaning slightly over to one side, but I think that is because I'm kind of compensating because of my lack of muscle. If you haven't tried side saddle, you will completely understand what I mean if you do go and give it a go. But I have ordered a queen because I think that will help me with my position. If you don't know what a queen is, I am going to do a vlog which explains a bit more about side saddle, so hopefully that will be helpful. So we're now just in our final walk around whilst the judge decides who she's going to place. At this point, I was dying to get out of the side saddle because it hurt so much. God, I'm really moany, aren't I? Just moaning about how much pain I'm in. I was absolutely chuffed to be called in to first place. Really pleased with Ellie, like she went so well. Downside was, again, gonna moan, I then qualified for the championship, which the judge actually said to me, yeah, you have to go back in the side saddle for the championship. So I felt I had to stay. Normally I would just kind of run away. But anyway, we did stay. So this is our championship round, I guess. So this was for all of the prize winners from all of the classes. And I'm going to stop waffling now because I feel like I've waffled a lot, and just let you watch and see how it goes. So as I said, this is the championship. So we did our sort of initial go round, no real individual shows, but the judge did ask us to trot away from her and then just turn and come back up the diagonal towards her. She did also say this was to judge the straightness. So I needed to be riding very straight, and I'm conscious that I was not sat as well in this kind of class as I was in the last one. So I did try and kind of up my game when I was trotting towards her, so I looked straight. So she then called us in to line up, and this was just in any order. And then we did get called forward. So I was a little bit in disbelief because we've never, ever won a championship. So you'll see I'm looking at the camera and you probably can't see the expression on my face, but I'm a bit like, what's going on? Not really believing it until she actually comes over and gives me the ribbon. So pretty chuffed that we actually did decide to hang around and do the championship. And I felt Ellie really deserved it because she always goes out and really tries her heart out for me. And she's always gone so lovely in the side saddle. So I felt she really, really deserved it. She's such a good girl. So yeah, very, very, very pleased with her. Our first ever championship. We've still got some work to do, obviously. I need to get fitter in the saddle. But we are working on it and we've got some more competitions and training lined up. So if you liked what you saw, please give me a subscribe and a like, and we'll catch you soon. Thanks for watching.